Do you have any views on Zionism? Do you know what it is? Have you heard of it?
Well, I've heard it many times. The word Zionism and Zionist.
It's a superior movement, isn't it?
And it is about about my idea of Zionism. I would say is having a state of Israel in the Middle East.
Yeah.
That's what I would have thought what Zionism is meant to represent, and people who support that idea are Zionists, and that doesn't. There's some Jewish people that don't follow that idea. You know what I mean?
And is it just Jews that follow that idea? Or
No. You have people that take that line. Doesn't matter what religion they are.
Yeah.
They could even have no religion.
And would you
say it's just a belief system?
Would you say the Zionists have too much control in the world today, or?
Well, you see, this is I would say they do, and I would say that you've got a serious problem with Zionism and some Jews.
Yeah.
And they were the architects of the wars in the Middle East for the benefit of Israel. And obviously for the benefit of the military-industrial complex.
And when
to
you
make
say
money
the wars,
from.
do you mean like the Iraqi war? What was we talking
the Iraq
about?
war in particular, it was the Iraq war.
So there was Zionist Jews that were behind that?
Yes, definitely. And I actually think 9/11 in itself, they carried out, and they were the main planners of 9/11.
And what's the evidence for this? Because
this is there is a numerous evidence. There's actually, it goes quite deep, and obviously the Zionists as well were involved. Like most of them were Jews. Some of them were not were Zionists, but the interesting evidence where you can suspect involvement was first of all the way the buildings came down was very suspicious, and anyone who looks at those buildings can detect that looked like it as if it was a controlled demolition.
What about Israel's involvement?
Well, because then
Zionists.
Oh yeah, Zionist involvement. Well, because again it came down to who owned the towers, Larry Silverstein, and then it came down to who was in control of security at the World Trade Center, which was Kroll Associates, Jules Kroll, dual Israeli-American nationality. Then you look at
you mentioned some presumable facts. I don't know specifically the specifics of them, but what is that? I'm saying because you've mentioned an opinion. Well, I'm just curious where the actual opinion comes from.
The thing is that the more that you look deep into it, the more that you see people who are.
You're assuming based on the facts that you've found.
Well, the more that I've looked into it, and there's been numerous things. There's been numerous suspicions. It's very suspicious behaviours. And
going back how far? How far back does this Zionist behaviour go?
When you're talking about, it's very interesting because when you look at who actually financed for the state of Israel to start coming into play was Jacob the Rothschilds. And when you look at the Rothschilds and you see that what they are involved in and how powerful they are, that they are satanic. This is a satanic force.
What does that mean, satanic? Sorry.
Well, I look to the scriptures on one angle. I can look to the scriptures of the Bible.
Are you a Muslim? Are you a Christian?
Well, I'm meant to be a Christian. When I look at the Bible, for example, and I look at the book of Revelations, and it says clearly, it says they claim to be Jews, they are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. It says that in the scriptures. And then when I look at the Rothschilds creating the state of Israel and how evil the Rothschilds are, they fund all these wars, they make profit, from loaning to countries, they control people's debts, and they're involved in everything to do with corporate capitalism. They are evil in my book, and this is the problem with the world. As I say, when you look at
what was that? So you said they are Jews or they're not Jews?
Well, they claim to be Jews and they are not. They are this, because their actions.
Zionists or Rothschild?
Well, I would say that you cannot be a Jewish person or any person of religion if you carry out evil crimes. Your religion becomes irrelevant. You are not really a Jew. Yeah, you see what I mean? And when I look at the Star of David, for example, and I get suspicious on the Star of David, because it says in the scriptures about the Satan synagogue, and it says the mark of the beast is going to be 666. And then when you look at the Star of David and you see the six,
oh my gosh,
the 6 triangles, the 6 points, and the 6-sided hexagon, and that's why I'm very. I'll leave on that note because I'm working on this, and I've been, as I say, with regards to 9/11.
Isn't the Star of David the sign of all Jews, though?
Well, I don't. I think it's the wrong symbol. I think it's Satan's. I think it's satanic synagogue.
Does that not mean that all Jews are part of Satan's synagogue?
No, because not at all.
All synagogues will have like a Star of David.
Well,
so maybe can we just shoot this video and then we'll?
Yeah.
So yeah, you just say. Wouldn't that mean that all Jews are?
Well, no. I mean that would be a wrong thing to say because not all Jews are evil. It's absurd to say that.
So are they just wearing a satanic symbol without realizing?
Exactly that.
When you were talking about the Rothschilds, it reminded me of something I'd read about, which is the Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Yes.
Is that real, false?
Well, I believe that's real.
Yeah. Could you explain what it is to our viewers?
Well, the protocol of the Elders of Zion.
Yeah.
Is basically a manuscript of behaviors on how to control the peoples of the world.
Yeah.
By subversion and other means, how to take control of the goy.
What's the goy? What's the goy?
The goyim.
The goyim. Okay.
The goyim.
What does that word mean?
Well, the goyim means the people who aren't Jewish.
Okay.
And as I say.
So this cabal of people, then they must be Jewish then if they're using Jewish words like goy and goyim.
Well, they can hide behind it. They can hide behind the Jewish people and carry out their I don't know if you can call it racism. I suppose it is racism but you know, again, it comes down to definition of race because it's just a religion is just a religion. It's a belief system. It's not really a race. So you imagine, there's Israel, there's the Golan Heights occupied by Israel, there's ISIS, and then please listen, I'll just finish it. And who does ISIS attack? It doesn't attack Israel or the Golan Heights. ISIS attacks the Syrian military.
Why is that?
Well, this is very interesting. Who is ISIS?
You're the one with the answers today, aren't they?
Well, I suspect that the real people behind ISIS are the Western corporate capitalists and Israel. That's what I suspect, yeah.
Well, why and Israel? Why not just Western corporate capitalists?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Western corporate, and Israel is part of that. Now, this is what I'm saying. This is why Israel is disliked throughout the whole world. And it goes back a long time, because let's look at what happened, what was meant to have happened in World War II with the persecution of Jews by National Socialist Germany, from what we've been told and said by the media and history. I'm very skeptical with history and media anyway. But what I never understood is how Israel could have gone, after claiming that Jews had suffered so bad with the regime of Adolf Hitler, go and support genuinely racist regimes in South Africa, in Rhodesia.
Yeah.
When you look at who De Beers, look at De Beers, owned by the Oppenheimer family.
So they Jews?
Well, they are Jewish, yes. Financed by the Rothschilds, again.
Jews.
Who you see, but the point is about the state of Israel. That Israel claims to have suffered racism at the hands of National Socialist Germany, but there they go on to actually support a genuinely racist regime in South Africa. So this is what...
So you said you didn't trust history, and then looking at the actions of these people...
Well, this isn't reported. This is what I'm saying now is not reported through the mainstream media. You have to...
Why is that? Why isn't it reported by the media?
Because the media is controlled by Western corporate capitalists.
But why would Western corporate capitalists try and hide this?
Because they want a narrative, however fraudulent and wrong it is, to be believed by people, so they can come with propaganda, and people can't question it, and they think, oh yes, they're doing right. When the reality is, the more you scrutinise.
So let's take two. You've got two channels. You've got Fox News and you've got the BBC, two of the biggest channels in the world.
Yeah.
Why would they not report on these things? What's in it for them?
Well, that's a very interesting thing. No, you will never find BBC ever reporting this information. You know, with regards to a Holocaust, you'll never. The only Holocaust they ever want to talk about is the one in National Socialist Germany. They never want to talk about other Holocausts.
And did that Holocaust take place? The one
I'm not. I don't. The way that they say it is, I'm a little bit skeptical.
So your question is, if Israel was the victim,
if Israel was a victim of racism in National Socialist Germany and suffered at the hands of National Socialist Germany, why would they then go on and support a genuinely racist regime of apartheid
question.
South Africa?
My first question would be, did Israel exist during World War II?
Well, no. I mean, it's...
So first and foremost, it's got nothing to do with Israel. You're talking about Jews. So I just want to make that really clear.
Yes.
You're saying if Jews were suffered in the Holocaust, why would Jews be racist?
That's right. That's my point, yeah.
Okay, so the British government and most of the governments around the world also collaborated with the apartheid regime, yeah?
That's right.
It wasn't
that's
just
right.
Israel.
That's right.
So what I would question...
But what I'm saying is, Israel is the one that goes on about racism, about National Socialist Germany, and they'd be massive hypocrites if they then go and support a genuinely racist regime in South Africa. The British government doing that, we can understand that, or the American government, you can understand that. Well, because they never suffered at the hands of a racist regime.
So it's understandable.
No, because what I'm saying is they're not victims of a racist regime. They've always been perpetrators of racism.
So it's wrong for everyone to...
Well, it's wrong for the state of Israel to go on about suffering at hands of National Socialist Germany and then go on and actually genuinely support a race.
You're basically saying because the Jews were butchered and massacred in the Holocaust, you're going to hold them to a higher standard.
I'm talking about the state of Israel.
I know, that's what
I'm not talking about the state of
Okay,
Israel.
so the state of Israel didn't exist in the Holocaust. So you're talking about Jews. Yeah. So you're saying that because Jews were massacred in their millions in the Holocaust, well, you didn't say that, I'm saying in their millions in the Holocaust, you're saying because of that, they should be held to a higher standard than everyone else.
Well, so you think it's all right. So you think
I think
Israel...
all the states that collaborated and worked with the apartheid regime were wrong to do so. But I'm saying...
And so what should happen to this?
So I don't think anything should happen to states today that collaborated with the apartheid regime, because that's pretty much every Western democracy. Israel is a tiny state with not many friends, yeah? It was voted into existence in 1947. In 1948 they declared its independence, and from that point there were very few allies of Israel. Israel basically needed all the friends it could get. Unfortunately...
Well, they had allies in Britain and America.
No, they didn't. Britain
come on.
So in 1948, in 1947, when the United Nations voted... Listen, I listen to you. In 1947, when the United Nations voted on whether or not Israel should exist, Britain didn't vote yes, like 33 other nations. Britain refused to vote. They didn't want to vote into existence. During the Holocaust, do you know what Britain did? It stopped Jewish immigration into that area. So when Jews were being massacred...
Where are you getting this source from?
So this is the British White Paper of 1939, which was commissioned in 1939. From 1939 onwards, immigration to Palestine, British Mandatory Palestine, was limited to 10,000 Jews a year, when millions were getting massacred in the gas chambers, whereas with Arabs there was unfettered immigration into Mandatory Palestine, which was then controlled by the British. So all I'm saying is Britain should be held to whatever standard Britain is held to. But I'm saying Britain and Israel are not and have not been allies. Basically, what you're doing, you're saying because Jews were murdered in their millions, or I'm saying that you're saying maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Because Jews were murdered in their millions.
I don't trust history. I don't trust media.
Do you trust me when I tell you you trust me when I tell you my family was killed in the Holocaust?
I'm trusting that you've said that because I've heard you just say it. I don't know how true it is. because you could be misconstrued.
So you
could be. I'm just saying.
Because you watch Loose Change on the YouTube.
Who said anything about Loose Change?
I'm sure
who said anything about Loose Change?
But you've heard of the video, so you know.
No, I've heard about Loose Change. That's right. But you brought up Loose Change. I never brought up Loose Change once. You're trying to say that.
No,
I believe in conspiracy theories.
Believe in conspiracy theories, but you won't believe a Jew who stood in front of you saying that his family. I'll let you into a secret. Yesterday, I prayed at a Holocaust survivors prayer minion, prayer service.
Now what?
If for example, but listen, if
Israel has a terrible history. What else? You keep going back to that. I'm curious. You said that Israel has a.
I mean, it goes back the crimes they've committed to and
you've mentioned the Palestinian war.
Well, the Palestinian. I'm also talking about southern Lebanon in 2006. And
how many people have died in total in this conflict?
Israel killed about 1,200 people. That's why I respect Hezbollah, because at least they didn't go and kill men, women, and children.
Yes,
civilians. Not like the Israelis.
They fired missiles on Tel Aviv.
No.
They fired missiles on Tel Aviv.
No, I respect Hezbollah because
do you know what Hassan Nasrallah says? Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah says he's glad that the Jews are in Israel because it means they don't need to hunt them around the world and kill them. They're all in one place, which makes it much easier to murder the Jews.
I don't know. I don't know where you've got that. I don't know.
If he did,
I don't know.